Over the next hour, maybe a little more, depending on how long we decide to go for today. Let's go around the room and just introduce yourself. Josh, you're the master controller here, so I'll go ahead and kick it off, I guess. So hello, everyone. My name is Michael Referzo. I am a certified project director for project management stuff. I also work at TCM Security and the Navy, doing a couple of fun things. So my background is primarily in IT, and my background is in curriculum development. I am still active duty military, so for all those service members that are out there watching today, thank you for coming. Truly appreciate it. Hope you're able to gain some new insight and some knowledge. Really excited to also have Josh and Mick here, who are also prior service members as well. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to whoever's next here, Josh.
How about Mick? Put you on the spot. Cool with that. You're muted for some reason.
Oh, no.
It was working a second ago.
It was working a second ago. I swear it was.
Oh. Okay. I'll jump in. So, Josh Mason, former C-130 pilot turned cyber warfare officer. I've taught while I was in the Air Force. I've taught as a government contractor, built out the penetration testing student course and EJPT version 2 at INE, eLearn Security, and now I'm a sales engineer for SimSpace. And try to help people out with getting into cybersecurity and transitioning from the military. Mick, is yours working?
Let's try now. How about now?
There we go.
Cool. Hey.
All right. Yes. Technical difficulties. So, hey, all. I'm Mick. I am prior Air Force, and now I work for Oracle as a security engineer in the Oracle Cloud. And I also do a lot of side projects, but I love to help anyone in cybersecurity. So that's why I'm here. Great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, Mick. And awesome. Kev.
Hey guys, hope everyone's having a good day, good evening. So I'm Kevin. You can call me Kevtech IT support on YouTube. I do tech training, do Active Directory, Office 365. I do tech training videos. I've been working closely with Peter Klein from Boots to Books. Thank you, Josh, for having me here. I appreciate it. And yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for being here. So the goal today was an AMA. I am watching chat. We haven't gotten any questions yet. Though, Mick, you posted some feedback today from, I'll just do podcast stuff here until someone throws in a question. Some feedback from a mentee that you talked to yesterday, if I remember correctly. Sorry, I just saw it this afternoon. Did you hit on a few different points of things that were kind of valuable in preparing to transition out of the military and get a job? What do you see as like maybe the top couple steps to take for that transition?
Yeah, so specifically to military or to just anybody in transition, really,
just
I guess,
anyone
right?
Transitioning or getting into cybersecurity.
Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest thing I see is you don't know what you don't know. So I highly recommend informational interviews, reaching out to people that are in roles of interest or in companies of interest and asking them questions, asking them what they do, asking them their day-to-day duties, ask them what skills they think are most valuable in their position, ask them, what you might need to apply for the particular company, those kinds of things. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, is to be willing to have conversations with people. And then the other part is to be honest with yourself and the skills and abilities that you have versus what you don't, so that you can identify your gaps and hopefully address those gaps, either in the interview by explaining to, the interviewer that maybe you don't have a particular skill set, but you've learned some other things maybe that are complementary, or you can explain, I'm willing to learn those things, those kinds of things. I think those are the two biggest things that I would recommend is looking at being honest with yourself and doing those informational interviews to really see what positions might be of interest to you.
I love it. So we've got some questions that are coming in.
I see them. They're coming. Here they come.
I think a softball for us. Do you recommend the CH Practical Cert?
Never.
How's it viewed within the industry? I'm of the same mind on that one.
So why not, Mick? I guess would be the
let's
big
dig
question,
in.
right? Because I know that question is going to come next. If you don't
Yeah.
recommend CEH, what
I
do you
agree.
recommend
Yeah.
in place?
Yeah, literally anything else. Now, so personally, and you know, I'm not knocking. If you have the certifications from EC Council, use them to your advantage. But if you don't have EC Council certifications, don't pursue EC Council certifications. I have no respect for the organization as a whole. It goes way back to plagiarism, sexism, and a whole list of things I don't want to go into here. I have written about that extensively. There's lots of us that have. If you can avoid it, avoid it. Literally any other vendor. If you're gonna look at ethical hacking, you're looking at that stuff specifically, then PM PT by TCM Security all day, every day. Definitely would be my first recommendation.
I like PTS. I don't know. I spent a few months building it, so I'm a big fan.
That's good too.
That's fair.
PTS, yeah. INE Learning, yes.
Yeah, the premium pass is expensive. They had the starter pass, which was free. It was pretty good, but the material was older to make up for the fact that they had to have a couple of us build out new courses. The fundamentals pass it's like $30 a month, or it's like $300 for the year, but you get EJPT and ICCA, the intro cloud computing cert, vouchers for both of those. So I don't know. I think that is worthwhile. Anyone who's going to spend $200 on EJPT, spending $300 and getting a year and also ICCA, it just makes sense to me. That's my take. PMPT is good. Heath has put together a really neat exam with the report, with the interview at the end, and PEH is, I don't know, truth be told, how I learned a lot of my skills early on as well. So
yeah, I'm going through the PMPT course right now, just as part of my requirements for what I'm working with TCM on right now. And I will tell you, I am strictly in the IT world. I do have a background as a information system security manager for the Navy. So my 2 networks that I own, I do have aspects of cybersecurity in them, but they don't really dive into the ethical hacking piece to it. But I will tell you, the course that I'm going through right now, it's pretty awesome. The way that he steps through the coursework, how he goes through the entire process from start to finish, the labs that he has inside of it, really quality material. And I'm not just saying that because I work for him. I'm saying that because it's truly good material. I did curriculum development for 4 years in the Navy. So I just have seen good training material, and I've seen really bad training material as well.
No, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
My 2 cents on that is the one thing I wish was available in the TCM Security Academy courses are built-in labs. He does walk you through how to set up those labs and grab vulnerable machines, and it's changed. It used to be utilizing Hack the Box free labs and some of the paid ones, but I understand it's changed a little bit since I first took it. PTS from INE includes labs for every lesson, so it's like 100 labs. It's a bit much. Alexi and I went overboard. It's a lot of fun. Here's one. Is the CompTIA Sec Plus worth earning to gain basic theories of cybersecurity? I think we've all got ideas. Kev, you have come from the more traditional, well, I don't know. That's actually, I'm the only one who doesn't have a more traditional IT background, but I do want to hear your thoughts.
I'm gonna say like Security Plus makes you well-rounded for security. Just gives you fundamental knowledge. It just it's like gives you fundamental knowledge. It's not, and I'm gonna say it here because I'm people like, oh, Kev said this, Kev said that, but like it really depends on the company. Really depends where you're. If you're gonna apply for a government job, you need Security Plus. You cannot avoid Security Plus. They're gonna ask you for it. So really depends on the company. I actually read the material for Security Plus with Professor Messer, Mike Myers, Ian Neal. They all cover like fundamentals of cybersecurity, but at the end of the day, like I said again, it really depends on the company. If they need it, they don't need it. So for me, like if you're trying to just understand security, at least just understand it, right? I would probably just read the book just to look at it, to look at the material, understand the material. So that's the same with all the other certifications. Like if you're gonna ask me about A plus, Network plus, I recommend you read it because then you have some sort of fundamental knowledge, and then you could go based on that, and then do some other stuff if that makes sense. So
yeah, that makes sense. Some of these questions kind of, I think we could bundle them together.
There we go.
This one's long. What's your suggestion for getting a job for a student who graduated with their degree in IT cybersecurity, who came from a medical background? I'm also going to bundle that with what would you all consider to be the most valuable aspect cybersecurity bring? No, not that one. Sorry. But trying to get an entry-level job. So both of those, Mick, I want to pass this one over to you. We kind of mentioned, I hit you with the softball earlier. For skills.
Yeah. So, I mean, gosh, yeah, I'll start with this. There is no one path. There's no guaranteed way that you can approach your, job hunt, right? So, the best thing you can do is, one, talk to people that are in roles and positions that you're interested in. Two, research the companies that you're interested in. Three, look at job ads and look at what they're asking for. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what certs you have, education, non-traditional, learned on your own. I don't care. But you've got to convince the company that you have the abilities and skills they're looking for to do that specific job. So it's very, very important that you're looking at that job ad, as badly written as it might be, and you're saying, what do I have that aligns, and how can I fit myself to match this role? Now, if you've got a background in medical or mechanic or whatever the heck, I don't care what you're bringing to the table. Police is a really good one. Look at those skills that you have and say, what skills align to cybersecurity? And a lot of skills from other career fields align to cybersecurity. It's all going to bring all that stuff that you've learned before, whether it's communication, teamwork, following policies, the ability to just, listen and do things, and your whatever job you had before, that stuff is relevant in cybersecurity just the same. So all of that stuff, there is no one path, and it's frustrating, especially at the entry level. I try to stay out of the entry level muck. Josh, that's all you. So back to you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Entry level's hard.
It is.
Because security as a whole is not perceived as entry level. And back me up on this. You guys have been around IT generally longer than I have. I'm actually the noob here. But it's weird because having a background in IT and help desk as a sysadmin, as a network admin, before moving over to security has been the traditional route. Like, correct me if I'm wrong on that.
For years and years and years, you do IT and then cyber. Yeah. You stumble into cyber.
Trying to jump into cyber off the bat, like the Air Force told me to. So but even then, my initial role was I was over a bunch of people who were doing traditional IT. I was just a manager because I was an officer. And I kind of had to sneak my way in through education because that was more of my expertise, which is still what I'm doing. Sales engineering is just charging people more for your training. Just saying. Here's another softball. Michael, I'll hand this kind of off to you. Do you know of any IT training programs offered to or through the military? I've got ideas.
Man, this is a great one. So one thing that I've been doing over the past couple of years as I'm getting ready for my own transition is trying to find all these resources. And it comes across as no surprise. There are so many people out there in the civilian world that want to help you out, and they have your best interests in mind, and they have all of these different programs that are available to you. But the problem is they're so far out there, and you don't know where to go to find a centralized list. When I finally realized this, I put together my own Word document. I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can put this together for myself. And I realized that it wasn't doing a service to anyone except for me. So what I did was I created a resources article. It's on my LinkedIn page. Go to my profile. Make sure to connect with me. Then go to my featured section. In there, I have a resources article, and I've been putting this thing together for about 2 years. In there is a ton of stuff. There are things like VetSec. There are things like Vets to Tech. There are the Google Academy, the Microsoft Academy. AWS has training materials that are available for military members. There's just so many things that are out there, and it really depends. I'm going to go back to something that Mick said earlier, right? There is no one real path. You can have so many different aspects of the IT world. You have the network side, the system side, cybersecurity, there's cloud, there's medical IT, which is its own separate thing because you have to deal with HIPAA. I read in the comments there earlier, HIPAA is its own separate thing. And it's so true. So there's so many different paths that are there, and there's so many different training opportunities that are available to you. Really, it's finding what works for you. So take that opportunity to go through that resources article. I think there's a ton in there that might help you out. I do have it broken down by different talent trees. So please go through, take a look at it, like it, make sure to share it with your friends. Before we move on to the next question, one thing I want to make sure and point out to the audience before I forget anymore is one, if you haven't already, you need to absolutely make sure and connect with each and every one of us. Me, Josh, Kevin, Mick. The other thing that I want to make sure to point out as well is if you're here because we have certification courses to give out, we are absolutely going to give those out during the entire stream. The first one, I'm actually just going to go ahead and go off script here for a second, Josh. I'm going to go and give these out now.
You got this.
Go for it.
So whoever sends connection requests to all four of us and then sends a message to me, I am going to get you a certification course for project management. Now, the reason why this is important, and I think this is kind of underutilized, is within the world of IT, you have project management IT. And Mick, I'm going to go off of something you said earlier, which is you never really know what path you're going to take inside the IT field until you start diving into it. And those informational interviews, I had no idea that the project management IT space was a real thing. When I found out that that was a real thing, I really started to dive into it because I truly enjoy that type of work. So found a company that started doing this, found opportunity for me to get me some training so I could figure out what real project management terms were, not just the military stuff. Took the course, completely changed my life in regards to how I approach things. So I have partnered with DOL Coach. They are sponsoring all of these certifications tonight, and I am giving those out to the community, specifically the IT community and anyone that is interested in it. So first couple of people who send me messages, I am going to give you a free project management certification course. It is all the training. You don't have to show up in person. You don't have to go to a Zoom call. It is at your own pace. So send me those messages. The first couple ones I get, I'm going to send you some instructions so you can redeem that, okay?
Awesome. Here's an interesting question for the group. Should I include TryHackMe certificates of completion within my resume? Mick, you were the first one to laugh, so
you're singling me out again.
I know why. I was thinking it too.
I love TryHackMe. Okay, I love the resource. I love the study tool. I love the gamification. I love anything that gets students interested in learning. So if you're using TryHackMe, good on you. Please keep going. This is not a dig on TryHackMe. Agreed. I'm not going to look at your resume for TryHackMe certificates, and I don't know of any hire manager that would. What we want to see are the skills and the things you've learned. So pull that piece out, pull what you've learned, highlight the skills. If you spent, I don't know, 3 days learning Burp Suite and you launched a bunch of things against websites, you learned something. That's what should be in your resume. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have a project section and you list TryHackMe, top 1%, number 9 in the world, whatever it is, right? You can do that. We do look for that, right? Especially at the entry level, anything really to show that you're invested, that you're learning, that you're doing those things. But tell me what you've learned, not what you've acquired in terms of certs and papers and stuff like that. I don't care about that. I care about what you've learned, what skills you have.
Nice. What's a better way of highlighting, not just on your resume, but elsewhere, doing things like Try Hack Me? Anyone want to take that?
Portfolios, man, like
Portfolios?
GitHub, right? Do you have a GitHub page?
Agreed.
Do you have a website? Do you have a portfolio built? I actually think I'm going to post on LinkedIn here soon about how to build a portfolio, because I've gotten that question like 90 times the last week. But build
Nice.
somewhere. You can check my LinkedIn. If you scroll down on my page and you look all the way down towards the bottom, I've got a project section, and in there I'm like, try hack me 1%, da 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 da. You can create that on your own page. That's fantastic. Like, we still want to see where you're learning, what you're learning, not just try hack me, but hack the box and over the wire, whatever it is you're learning. We want to see that. But it's the skills that matter, not the paper.
Agreed.
Yep.
I was going to say the same thing too, actually, not to interrupt you. I was going to say, yeah, that's why, if you have LinkedIn, like, that's why I always, like, I'm a LinkedIn guy. That's why if you go into the feature section, that's why that's there. So you could put projects, you could put videos, you could put stuff you're working on. You could even put your certification there. You could put your website there. There's like so many things you could do on the feature section. So why not take advantage of it? So then the hiring manager sees what you're working on. So.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And LinkedIn's one of those great tools. Mick, you talk about, hiring managers and everyone else looking at your stuff. And the best way to get that stuff out there is on LinkedIn. Build that projects section on your profile, highlight it, put it in your featured section like Kevin said. And then there you go. You've got all the information that hiring manager needs to make an informed decision on you. I read in the post, and I should have pointed this out earlier. I apologize to everyone in the audience tonight. I had surgery on Monday, so I speak very nasally right now, and I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
I'm still trying to recover from it.
I almost picked that guy, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, me too, actually.
So, yeah, absolutely. Just bear with me. I promise it gets better.
Let's get ready to kick that guy that can kick a printer at the same time. But it's okay. It's all good.
You're fine. You're
fine. All love here. All love.
Here's a fun one. How do you get a remote job? I've got ideas on this. Ooh. It's hard and requires you to kind of stand out from other people. But like, what's your all's take?
I'm going to jump on this one here.
Go for it.
I think it starts with your LinkedIn profile. I'm a huge advocate for LinkedIn. I will tell you that if you're not taking the opportunity to use LinkedIn for your advantage, to build a great profile, do those informational interviews that Mick's talking about, set up your profile to where hiring managers can find you, like Kevin's talking about, then the other part of that is going to be finding those remote jobs you're interested in, and then building your profile out to match those specific jobs. It's just like tailoring your resume. You're not going to send in a generic resume to any employer and expect them to say, yep, I'm going to piece this piece out and this piece out and this piece out. And that's exactly what I need. What they're going to expect is they're going to expect you to match that role at least. And, correct me on this because I don't have the full stats. Mick, Kev, Josh, you guys probably know this better than I do, but you need to match at least 70 to 80% of that job title.
I disagree.
That would be somewhere where I would shoot towards.
I don't think you need to match things, but do know that someone who matches those things more than you and has experience and is able to show it on their resume and then in an interview is more likely to get the position.
There we go.
I say if you feel like reading the job description, you are a fit at some point, go there. But be prepared to know that, like, if it's a reach, if you feel like it's a reach, like, don't feel hurt if someone else gets the position. I've been in that position myself a lot. And it can hurt after a while, but you also, Wayne Gretzky, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
I am open to disagreement on that. If someone's got another take.
No, I was gonna say that for remote jobs, and people are gonna hate me on this because I'm gonna get hate for this, but for remote jobs, the reason why remote jobs are extremely hard to get is because you have no job experience or because the manager might not trust you. And I'm just gonna be honest with you. Some companies, the manager won't trust you. Like, how can I trust you to do the work from home? Like some managers think like that. I don't think like that. But unfortunately, you have managers that think that way. They think that they can't trust you on your own. They can't give you the remote option because they feel like they just don't know if you're able to do your job. So it goes back to LinkedIn again. Like, show your work, show what you could do, show what you have on your resume. Can you actually show that you're able to do the job? That's extremely important. Like, when you have that, then most likely they'll give you a chance. Most likely they'll trust you after that. But if you don't show what you know how to do, then that becomes a problem. The manager's like, I don't know if I should trust this person. Can I leave him by himself? Can I leave her by herself? All that is very important when it comes to just connecting with people, when it comes to having a LinkedIn profile, and when it just comes to applying for jobs. And another thing that Michael said is that I agree with is make sure you have a good resume. Make sure you don't spray and pray that resume, right? Like, you don't want to spray and pray a resume. It just doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you tailor your resume to the job you're applying for. And I'm not saying every single job tailor it, right? Like, that's very time consuming, right? You should at least have like a resume, like a sample resume, or a resume that you could like tailor a little bit for this job or that job, but you don't got to tailor every single resume. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's just my thought process on that. So I don't know what you want to say, Josh, but you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm at the point where I will go and I'll tweak, but I also like steal. If there's stuff in the job description and it explains it, and I'm like, I'm a fit for that, and like as what it says describes me, I'm just gonna take that line and put it in my summary, or like, oh, I'm gonna take that and then add in the facts about this job where I did exactly that thing, or like my truth with like their wording, not lying, but if they put the wording right there of what they're looking for and I am that, like, why wouldn't I spend like 20 minutes just like copy, paste, fit?
Right. And don't recreate the wheel. The wheel's already there. Use it.
Also, it's going to work with like ATS. If they've got like Bamboo and so many ATS are just going to take the job description and match keywords. And truth be told, like, why not take advantage of knowing that that's going to happen and like getting a higher match if it leads to the interview? Anyone can do that. Feel free.
Right. Absolutely. Everyone that's in here right now can absolutely go through and do that. All it takes is going through LinkedIn, go through that search function, look for those jobs, and then you can tailor your resume and tailor your profile to match what you would like to match. There was a question in there that ties into this. How do you get a remote job? I think it was something along the lines of, how do I show experience if I only have ever had one other job before? That's where those projects come into play. Right? Doing those projects, building up that portfolio that Mick's talking about, and then showcasing that on your profile. That is how you get that experience.
I like on a resume, if under experience, you could put like freelance, like cybersecurity, and include all of the training that you're doing that fits the job description. If it fits, if it doesn't fit, I wouldn't put it there. But that's my 2 cents. Or you could put cybersecurity student, or even as the job
Student's
title,
a good one,
and then how you've been learning. And truth be told, then if you've got your portfolio and you've got a link for that, or you've got like your LinkedIn or even your Twitter, like, I don't care where you're posting this stuff, but if you post regularly, the rooms that you do, the training that you do, that all ties together and helps. Shows that you actually like know something.
I was gonna say, like, not to interrupt you again, sorry. I was gonna say that I for getting a job too, like, you really got to get involved. Like, that is why we have Discords. That's why we have Slack. That's why we have all these third-party applications that you can actually engage with people. Like, a perfect example of this is someone that gave to like the person that I'm always gonna talk about is David Meese, right? It's a perfect example of someone that actually just got a cybersecurity job, and he was just like so involved with everything and just interacting with people on LinkedIn and being on Discord and being on all these other platforms. And he just got a job in security. So it took a while, but he got a job in security. So if you're very involved and if you really take the time to like not just do IT, but actually give back to the community and help people out as well as yourself, like help other people out and branch out and get out of your comfort zone and actually talk to people, engage with people. And I know people that are here that are watching, like, I like to hide underneath the table or the desk, or I want to hide in the corner. I don't want to talk to anyone. You should definitely like try to socialize a little bit. Just connect with people. You never know who's hiring. So you got to go speak up, talk to someone, connect with them. You never know who's watching. You never know who's hiring. Build those genuine connections and just put yourself out there and see what happens. So
wholeheartedly. And you don't have to come on live streams. You don't have to show people your cool socks like Mike Miller, but posting something is very helpful.
Yep.
Otherwise, how will people know you know?
Right.
Here's a good one. Do you guys have bachelor's degrees or just certifications? I'm going to throw out there that I have a bachelor's of science in humanities and an MBA. I do not have a cybersecurity or any sort of coding or computer science degree. I do have Sec Plus and then CISP, but that's mine. Mick, I know you've got, you do have your degree from WGU.
Yeah, I have a bachelor's in forensics, a bachelor's in psychology, a master's in psychology, a master's in cybersecurity from WGU. I'm a doctoral student. I have a dozen associate degrees as well, and a whole bunch of other stuff I don't put on LinkedIn. I also hold 32 certifications, but I'm an instructor, so I tend to pick up certs to teach, not because I need them necessarily for the job.
And you're kind of you would be an expert before you got out of the military. You've been teaching for a while.
I have, now. Yeah, I've been teaching for a minute. Yeah. I'm a big advocate for education. You do not need education, but if the opportunity is available to you and you can go to school, please go to school. It will open up management roles for you that otherwise those doors may remain closed. It's very, very difficult at the mid to senior level to move up without a bachelor's. So I do recommend it. And WGU is a great school. Highly recommend them.
Yeah.
Big fan. Kev, do you have a degree?
No. So I'm my background's crazy. It's really weird. I have 12 years of restaurant experience. I have 4 years in the NYPD. It's a long story. I got let go from working in restaurant one day because they were having issues, and then I got my first job with just having the CompTIA A+. Awesome. And that's it. When I have an expired cert, I just been like with no certs or anything, just experience.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about you, Mike?
So I have a certified post-secondary instructor certification. I earned that whenever I was doing my training stuff, like Mick. I just love doing the training things. I do have my Sec Plus. It is expired, but that was back when the military as a whole was forcing everyone to get Security Plus because that was the thing at the time. So they forced all of us to go through boot camp. We had to pass it no matter how many times we took the exam. And then I have worked towards a degree, but I do not have one. So all of my training, all of my education has been on the job, learn by the seat of my pants, and as things catch fire, you put them out.
Yep, wholeheartedly agree. Yeah. Someone asked WGU, Western Governors University.
Yep.
So great school. We can explain it later, or I don't know. Mick, you want to take a sec?
Sure. At
Hey, there we go.
WGU, I did my master's there. I did not do all of my degrees there, so I will say there are other schools. It's not like WGU is the only one. But
Yeah.
Western Governors University, they embed certifications into your college education, so you get a bit of college and the certs along with that, which is a great program. There are other universities that do that now. WGU is one of the first ones to offer that. And they tend to be I forget what the word is called, competency based, I believe. Competency, is that it? Yeah, competency based, which means you don't have to spend more time on material you already know. If you can test out, if you can write the paper for it, if you can finish the course materials, you can move through courses a little bit faster than a traditional brick and mortar university, perhaps, all dependent on you as the student. And so that's I often recommend for folks to take a look at WGU, especially if you already have IT or cybersecurity technical background. Then WGU is a great school for that. For me, for my master's, literally I already had CISP, which was what my master's was kind of aligned to. And I kind of felt like I just needed to get the degree done. I wasn't looking to learn a lot because I already had 20 years in the industry. So for me, that was a good fit. For someone who really is learning, there are some other, even community colleges that might be a better fit for you. If you're really looking to learn, there may be other programs. So it just depends on what you're trying to do there.
Agreed.
Oh yeah.
Here's a long question. I want to take CAS Plus, and the performance-based questions seem to be CentOS VM based. How deep does CAS dive into Linux hardening? I've got a CAS Plus book that over on my shelf. I realized I didn't need the cert, so I wasn't going to spend the time. I've got other things to do. Has anyone taken CAS Plus? My understanding is
I teach it as
pretty,
well.
yeah.
So CAS Plus was a
Perfect.
management focused certification. It's the top tier of CompTIA. It's not going to be super technical, but it is more technical than some of your other certs like CISM or CISP or other comparables. You're going to have a handful of those performance based questions, somewhere between 5 and 10 of those right in the beginning. When I took the test, I skipped all of them. I answered all the multiple choice questions and still passed. So don't put a lot of weight on that. Don't stress that. Just do the best that you can with that. And as you study the material, go through those PBQs a little bit, the performance-based questions. It's not super technical. You don't have to know all of the things that CentOS does. It's more management focused.
My take. It seemed like a step to CISP. I don't know. Or
it's about 4 of the
different.
8 domains that make up CISP. CISP, however, is way less technical and way more managerial and like a marathon-wide stuff. It's a whole different umbrella. But I recommend a lot for students to go through CASP, build that confidence, and then tackle CISP. CISP is the industry standard for information security, not cybersecurity, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because Mike Miller is on my chat and he keeps commenting about you, Mick. I'm just laughing at his comments.
Mike, what are you doing,
watching
Mike?
the same thing.
Mike Miller, I feel like my IQ goes up every time Mick is talking.
Mike's my buddy. Yep. Love you, Mike. Love
Me
the
too.
socks, Mike.
We invited her here to bring some legitimacy.
Yeah, exactly. When we talk about big dogs in the room, Mick is absolutely the biggest right now. She trumps all of us.
I put my pants on the same way as everybody else, guys. Same thing.
So I saw this one earlier. Cybersecurity has a lot of. Oh wait, no, that's not this one.
Okay.
Since IT has a lot of information, how do you remember all the information concepts that you meet? I'll give you mine. I learned a whole bunch of stuff front loaded for exams, and then now it's stuff that like I don't know offhand. Like I don't know what the port is for RDP, but you know what? I know that there is a port, and I know how to look for it. And if someone told me, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, of course." What's your all's takes?
Really, it comes down to like, what do you? For me specifically, for my job, I have 2 different networks that I run. So of those 2 different networks that I run, I have tons of things I have to do. I have to look at logs. I have to look at passwords. I have to look at account generation. I have to look at setting up new emails. So there's always something you won't know in IT. That's true across the board, right? There's always something that you're going to learn as you do jobs. And really, it comes down to, at least for me, what I do on a normal day-to-day basis, that is what I focus on. So there's going to be a lot of times where I'm not going to remember how to do something inside of Linux because my normal day-to-day is in a Windows environment. I don't have to do a whole lot of Linux. So I have to really dive into a lot of the Linux stuff whenever I have an issue on one of my systems that I have to get into. I'll have to dive into that a little bit more. So I have to learn a little Linux, and it just comes with time. Mick, Josh, Kevin. I mean, but between all of us here, we're sitting at probably over 40 years of experience worth of IT and cybersecurity, and I will tell you, not a single day goes by without me looking at a system and saying, I don't know what this is telling me. I need to look at this on the Google machine.
Yeah. That knowing what to look for, I feel like is one of the key skills in getting advanced in this.
I know Kevin does a lot of that too.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, like, for me, like, that's my quote. Is always gonna be my quote. Is, what do I know? I know nothing, because I'm always learning. That's my quote. So I'm always gonna say, figure out your way of learning. Figure out how you learn, how your brain works, how your mind works. Yeah. Because I may be good with reading a book. I may not be good with reading a book. I may be good with actually doing a physical lab. I may be good with watching a video. So are you a visual learner? Like, how do you learn? Figure out your way of learning. Once you figure that out, then you can do your job and stuff like that. But I always say, you're not gonna know everything. Nobody knows everything. So figure out how you learn. That's one. And the other thing is learn how to have a black belt in Google Fu. And then that's it. That's it for me. That's usually what I say. So
yeah. Someone asked, would you say continuous research is key? Yes. And I think we all would.
Yeah, absolutely, Tyler. Right? Continuous. I made a post about this earlier last month. It's the day you stop learning in the IT industry is the day you become irrelevant.
Yeah. It's true.
100%.
Who has a backlog of courses or like labs that they want to do? Like, I started KringoCon today. I did an admin of cyber room, and I'm like, I'm never gonna finish these.
Yeah, we're gonna finish these.
I'm also doing like Cyber Start with like my high school kids that I mentor, and like I've done like 2 of those this year. I've just been busy. Fortunately, I have all mine from last year.
Yeah.
Is Python enough for cyber professionals, or more programming language skills are required? It depends. Is that?
Yeah.
Depends on the job.
Do you want to be a security engineer?
Right?
You're going to need programming languages. You don't want to be a security engineer? You want to be an analyst? You might just need Bash.
Sure. But being able to script is going to be helpful. And truth be told, like, I would still learn Python because everything that you could do with Bash, you could make into a nice little Python program. You want to find and replace? You want to pull things out of a log? For me, I know Python better than I know some Linux tools. So trying to figure out like awk and grep, I would just rather make a Python program personally, because I know regular expression and how to find and print. So depends.
Yeah.
I've also haven't had to need that skill. So it's just one of those things. Interesting question. So here is kind of a strange one. Notice a lot of remote entry-level jobs are being advertised as help desk, but when I read the reviews, they're talking about selling stuff over the phone or no technical stuff. Is this a new issue?
That is an out of the box question.
Right? Is this something you've seen, Kev? I know a lot of people come to you about help desk.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Okay.
With that one.
Yeah.
So is it a sales role?
Maybe a sales role?
Like,
I don't know.
yeah, that'd be weird. Maybe it's sales for an MSP. Feel free to hit me up with more specifics on that, JM, if you want. I don't know. I'm doing sales now, which is sales engineering. It's weird. It's fun. Yeah. Here's one from Mike Miller earlier. How much has LinkedIn helped you all in your career?
Yeah.
Tons. Oh my gosh. That just absolutely a complete game changer. You know, I met all three of you through LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
This live stream would not happen today if it wasn't for LinkedIn. I mean, that's proof enough as it is right there. To take it a step further, I have received 2 different jobs, actual legitimate jobs from companies because they found me on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Kevin, I've worked with you before in the past with Tech Skills. I now have the opportunity, and I'm so blessed to be able to work with TCM Security now. But it's all through LinkedIn. That is how much it has helped out, Mike. And I know you and your socks, I absolutely love it over there. I will tell you, you're like the perfect person to talk to when it comes to like personal branding and how to get yourself out there. But this is exactly why you need to use LinkedIn to help you network with people, get those informational interviews, and find those opportunities, or have those opportunities find you. That's even the better part.
Mm-hmm. Very true. LinkedIn's how I've gotten every job since the military. It's only been 3 years, but literally made sent a DM kind of in the blind to a guy who was a Naval Academy grad. I'm an Air Force Academy grad. He's a little bit older than me. He had just gotten a job doing federal as the VP for Fed training at KW. I was like, you know what? I've just heard that they got this contract for teaching military cybersecurity folks. I know some cyber. I know teaching. I've been looking at project management. I was like, hey, if you have any positions that might work for me, after we had a little back and forth, that's how I kind of ended it. If you had any positions that you think I might be able to fill, I'm going to be available in January. And he's like, all right, send me your resume. And then he connected me with someone, and the HR contacted me. Next day I had an interview, and the next day I had an offer. It was pretty neat. It was very fortunate. Yeah. It was after like 3 months of sending out lots and lots and lots of applications and hearing nothing. I met Neil and Jack through LinkedIn, and that's how I got the job at INE. My current boss, I reached out to the company. I was like, hey, I just saw you posted this position. Job looks really interesting. Do you know how much it pays? And it wasn't to my boss. It was to actually another Naval Academy grad. I use this a lot. It's a good strategy for me. And he's like, oh, it pays this, but that one just got filled. Here's another position. Do you want to talk to the hiring manager? And I was like, sure. Similar deal. A week later, had a job offer. So yes, big fan of LinkedIn. It works for me.
Yeah, for me on LinkedIn, I use LinkedIn, and I got reached out, but just because I'm on LinkedIn, I was able to meet everyone here that's live today in chat. But not only that, I was able to teach in Tech Skills Institute. I'm able to be on other platforms like Job Skillshare. I met Zach Hill, IT Career Questions. You know, just meeting people, talking to people, engaging with people, and just people seeing me, people seeing me on LinkedIn. And because I've been really crazy on LinkedIn, I was able to double the size of my LinkedIn followers too, and just trying to engage with everyone, trying to help people. And when people see that you're giving back, like hiring managers will reach out to you, or companies will reach out to you because they see that you're trying to help people. So definitely having a LinkedIn profile and just giving back to the community, you know, it comes back to you. 10 times fold. Just saying. So
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a fun question. Quick one for Mick. What's your PhD program in, or what are you?
I actually just left a PhD program and I'm getting ready to start another one. And I'm focused in adversary manipulation is sort of my research area at the binary level. So sort of a little bit of malware analysis, a little bit of bit level manipulation, assembly language, that kind of stuff.
Fun.
Nice.
I'll have to bug you about that later.
Yeah.
When you hit the end. Are simple projects like Raspberry Pi stuff worth showing? This was, I think, back when we were talking about resumes and projects and LinkedIn. I think, yes, this is exactly what I would put blogs about and put on your GitHub and have on your LinkedIn and reference in proper sections on your resume. What do you all think?
No, absolutely.
Do it.
That project section, like I said, at the bottom of your LinkedIn profile, you can add in that other section there for projects, and you can add in almost anything and everything. You can showcase those skills working with a Raspberry Pi. You can showcase those skills by showing off some of your code on some of that on the GitHub. Building that profile, that portfolio that Mick's talking about. All of those things add up, and as employers and hiring managers see you, they see that you're not just in one area or focusing on one area. You have multiple different avenues that you're learning, and that just showcases your skills even more.
Very true. This one came back around when we were talking about learning things. Curious how we all retain knowledge, because they don't want to get in front of an exec and say, "Oh, I need to research that more." And then that's legitimate. I do kind of wonder. There's, I think, a certain amount of it sounds like there's a little anxiety there that might be misplaced, in my opinion. If you're worried about an exec asking you things that might be out of your ballpark, but I don't know. What's your all's take?
I mean, I work with executives all the time in my current job and my jobs before that. I'm honest with them. I tell them I don't know. I honestly, I would want to give you a clear answer, and let me do some research on this and get back to you, or let me speak to my manager, or let me speak to someone that's part of the sysadmin team or cybersecurity team or whatever. I literally, I'm just honest with the person. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to them and say, "Oh yeah, this is this." I don't lie to people, so I just tell them the truth. I tell them I don't know, or especially when you're doing certain things, or especially when you're fixing someone's computer and they have this weird issue you have never seen in your life before, and you're trying to figure it out on the fly while fixing it. This happens to me all the time. I literally just say, I'm gonna do some research on this. Let me get back to you. Let me go speak to a colleague of mine or a team member of mine and our manager, and then we'll figure out how to fix it. And then once I fix it, and I'll come back to you. And I don't want to waste your time right now, so I'll come back to you later. So that's how I usually respond to that. So that's just me.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, Kevin's spot on. Whenever I run into issues like this, and I have to explain, hey, why is my VoIP system down right now? Voice over IP. I just look at it and I was like, you know what? Give me an opportunity to look through to see what the trouble issue is, and then I'll get back to you. Right? Because the exec, whoever's above you, they don't want a shot from the hip. Meryl, you pointed this out in the chat there. Don't shoot from the hip. The second you shoot from the hip and you're wrong about it, you've lost credibility.
Oh yeah.
Now you're in worse case than if you would have just said, "Hold on, give me a second here. Let me take a look at the logs, and I'll get back to you here in a second."
And does anyone think that that's unreasonable? I'm with you.
I think in my opinion, I think when you lie to someone, you mess up your reputation as a person. And then when you actually go and try to help them again, they don't trust you anymore. You lose that trust, and then they're like, okay, I don't want Kevin touching my computer because he's not competent enough or he doesn't know what he's doing. And that happens with me because I had that experience with executives that I have worked with in the past. and not me in general, but like people that are part of my team, and they don't have good social skills or good soft skills, and the manager's like, I don't want that person back in my room. I don't want him to touch my computer. I don't trust that person. So you gotta build that relationship, that trust with that person. If you don't do that, that becomes a problem. And then what happens with that too is they talk about you with other people that are in the same company, and then nobody wants to call you for help. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. You might not get fired for something like that, but you definitely will not get asked to do other things and be promoted. This one, I've kind of got a stop at the end for getting kids to bed. Sorry about that. But I was thinking this might be a nice way for us to end this one. So even if you're new in the industry and haven't been so lucky with IT jobs, in which way can you give back to the community? Mick, do you want to?
Sure. Yeah, I'll try and give this a go.
This.
A lot of that's going to depend on where you are in the world and the size of your community, right? But there's no doubt a community library that probably has some computers on hand that maybe needs some assistance from an IT perspective. There's community colleges that usually have labs and different computer systems that maybe need some help there. You can get involved with your local community centers and you can teach senior citizens. Usually there's different programs. I did this for years where I would teach senior citizens how to send an email, how to, set up internet, how to do a Google search, how to install an application, how to, antivirus when that was a thing back in the day. Those jobs, those are still out there. A lot of those are unpaid or volunteer roles or very low pay, but they can help you get your name out and you start to meet people. Scrub your community, even your local elementary, high school sometimes will allow you, they'll run a background check on you for those types of roles, but you can get in and maybe help with a computer lab or help with an instructor that maybe teaches some cybersecurity related courses, those kinds of things. Yeah. What else you guys got?
Wholeheartedly agree. My easy one, in my opinion, is if you're learning things, if you don't know much, like share what you found is valuable. Share what you found is not valuable. If you're like, I just spent an hour on this training and I feel like I got nothing.
Oh yeah.
You know what? Yeah. That's a valuable post.
That is.
And like a lot of people are going to be like, thank you very much.
Yeah, build your YouTube channel, right? Isn't that content for YouTube? I don't do YouTube, Kevtech. Come on. Isn't that what people should do? Start building their YouTube channel.
But for me, like there's a hidden gem right here for you guys that are watching today. So for me is join social platforms and volunteer on those social platforms. Which platforms am I talking about? So I will volunteer because I'm part of different groups and affiliated with different groups. One of them will be Racist Cyber. So Racist Cyber is one platform that Josh knows about. Racist Cyber is for people and minorities trying to get into IT and stuff like that. So I would join that platform. Now you're like, Kev, I don't want to do that. I'm more, I want to be like women in IT, right? So join women cyber jitsu. So women cyber jitsu, actually, you could get involved in there as well and volunteer. That's another community you get involved with. And then there's women in Linux. So women in Linux also has their own community on Slack. You could join women in Linux. Then there's also these other platforms like
cybersecurity,
cyber jobs hunting. There's other Discords. There's simply cyber. It's like so many different platforms. Like I want you to get involved, right? Because like I always say this, and I said in the other video, nobody knows what you need unless you speak up and say something. So you got to talk, get out of your comfort zone and just reach out to people and see what happens. If they say no, they say no. Okay, that's fine. Move on to the next person. It's not, not everyone's going to say yes to you, but you could at least try, right? Just reach out to people. And when you reach out to someone, anyone that's ask you want to ask for help, right? If you want to reach out to someone, make sure you ask them, how can I help you first before you ask for a favor? Because they're going to assume you're asking for a favor. So don't do that. There's a difference between adding someone on LinkedIn and asking for a favor and then actually contributing and helping that person. So you want to make sure that you're contributing when you're adding someone. It's like, oh, this person just added me because they wanted something from me. So don't do that. So that's just my 2 cents. So.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Agree.
And
nice.
to wrap it up there,
Mhm.
really contributing via any way that you can. When I first started doing this LinkedIn stuff, I had no idea what I was doing. I learned from people, right? I went to webinars. I just started gathering all this information. I realized that, one, I really enjoy it, and I want to be able to contribute as well, but I want to add my own twist to it. So I started doing local stuff within my own command to teach LinkedIn to service members. And then I expanded on that. Now I do training to service members on how to leverage LinkedIn for my base and all the commands. Now I'm going to the other base that's just down the street. I do it one-on-one. I do it on LinkedIn. Kevin, I did a video with you on your YouTube channel where we did it for everyone in the IT industry, which we still need to do an update for that, by the way. It's really just contributing whatever you can, right? No matter how small you may think it is going to mean something to someone. So take that opportunity just to put yourself out there. Kevin said it the absolute best way. You got to start somewhere, start small, even if it's just with a post.
Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you all for joining us today. This has been a real honor to spend this time with y'all. And
that has been awesome.
Yeah. Hope everyone has a happy holidays and a happy new year.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. Take care.
All right.
Reach out to us if you have any more questions.
Yes. Yep. Connect with all of us. Absolutely, you should.
All right. Bye, all.